The most feared sales objection is, I want to think about it. When a prospect says, I want to think about it at the close, what they're really saying is, one, I'm not sold on the problem, or two, I'm not sold on the solution, or three, I'm not sold on the price. It can only be one of those three things. So when you hear, I want to think about it, it means you, the salesperson, failed during the qualifying phase. How? Well, for starters, chances are you didn't establish what I call problem recognition. Problem recognition is the first phase of the qualifying process. It's not enough for you, the salesperson, to see a problem. You have to confirm that the prospect sees a problem and agrees that they want it solved. Once you've established problem recognition and identified your prospect's role in the decision-making process and their time frame for wanting a solution, the next step in the qualifying phase is to identify what their ideal solution looks like. After you have problem recognition and understand what their ideal solution looks like, you need to qualify on price by giving the prospect a range from low to high on what it would cost should they decide to use your solution. If that price range works for them, if they like your solution, you then exit the qualifying phase and now move into the presentation phase of the sales process. When you learn to master this qualifying process, where you give presentations that hit the mark and then use what I call close on solution concept, you will no longer fear hearing, I should say, I want to think about it. Now, what is close on solution concept? Close on solution concept is me asking a question at the end of the presentation that confirms our solution solves their problem. It sounds like this as you wrap up the presentation. I'll give you an example. Mr. Prospect, I know I've been throwing a lot at you in a short time period, but let me ask you this. What do you like best about what you've heard so far? Now you shut up and listen. This is where the prospect now gives you their positive feedback on what they like, and then you respond with, okay, great. So does this sound like what you're looking for? And you ask it in that kind of quizzitive way. Now, if they just told you what they really like about what they heard in your presentation, the only answer you're going to hear is some version of yes, to which you reply, great, listen, I would really love to earn your business now. Other than price, is there anything else stopping you from moving forward with us now? This is called closing on solution concept. The prospect will either say, no, other than price, we're in, meaning you can now negotiate the final price, or they will give you an objection. But what you will not hear is, I want to think about it, because if you did your job correctly, you confirm problem recognition, their role in the decision-making process, time frame for solving that problem, they agreed to your solution, and they agreed to your price range before they got to presentation. So if they're not ready to move forward now, there is some other objection standing in their way, and they will pop with that objection when you close on solution concept. And so once they pop with that other objection, you now run the sales buzz 5-step objection handling formula. Easy peasy. Now, here's where you can get yourself in trouble and still hear the I want to think about it objection. If you ask the problem recognition questions or decision-making role questions or the time frame questions or the ideal solution questions or the price range questions and do not listen to the answers you get back, and you keep moving forward with your sales presentation, you could still end up hearing, I need to think about it. For example, let's say you ask their ideal time frame question and they say, sometime in the next 6 months, and you just move on to the next qualifying question, you are going to run into trouble when you get to the close. Why would a prospect wait 6 months to solve a problem? Again, this is just an example, but a very common one. If your average prospect makes a purchase within 30 days or less, like if that's your strike zone, and you know that that's the time frame they normally make a decision, from 30 days or less after you first make contact, and you ask a prospect their time frame in that qualifying question, and they say something like 6 months, and you move on without understanding the reason behind why they have to wait 6 months, you're not qualifying. It's not enough to just ask the right questions at the right time. You have to listen to the responses you get back and determine if their response equals a red light, yellow light, or green light before moving on. And if it's a red or yellow, you have to know how to handle that before asking the next question. Not continue to keep moving and try to go for a close later, because then that's when you're going to hear stupid objections like, I need to think about it. So with that being said, we all make mistakes during live sales calls. I don't care how long you've been doing this, it happens. So if you did mess up and you hear a prospect say, I want to think about it. First of all, work on fixing it so you don't have to hear that so often anymore, right? By the things I mentioned before. Learn to become better at those areas. But if you mess up and you do have a prospect say that, simply respond with this. Mr. Prospect, there are only 3 reasons why a customer says they want to think about it. It's either they're not sold on the problem, They're not sold on the solution, or they're not sold on our price. Which one are we dealing with? Get them to say which reason is holding them back, and then use the Sales Buzz 5-step handling objection formula to handle and close the deal. Hope this helps.